All right. Hey everyone. Hello and welcome to the stream. Satya Bhatt is here. Harsh Mangukia is here. I am here, and today is the 26th of January 2021. Um, and yes, today is also India's Republic Day. So happy Republic Day to all my fellow Indians on the stream. LGB Dead Boy is here. Kevin Evans is here. Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Satya says nice music. Where from? I'm not sure if I put that link there in the description box below, but I believe I'm not really sure of this, Satya. It's something that I took from YouTube, and it's a audio file. It's an audio stock file called as fun. That's what I know about it. But yeah. So yeah. I'll see if I can get that link. But yes, definitely not something that I made. Although I am actually planning to talk to my brother, and my brother is really talented musician, I would say, or rather better at music than me. And I think I can get him to make an intro sound for me. He keeps fiddling with his music stuff, so definitely I was planning to kind of ask him to get me something. But yes, Kevin Evans says, saw your tweet about Republic Day, was a great watch. I'm glad you liked the parade, Kevin Evans. It's even more fun to watch it in person. But I think this year it may not be possible, but hopefully next year or the year next to that, whenever this pandemic goes away, right? Sohini is here. Hey Sohini, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining in, folks. Really appreciate all of you joining in today. I've also sorted out the widescreen issue. So I'm hoping you folks can see me properly. I'm looking at my stream on Twitch, and it looks like this camera is working fine. But yes, this setup works perfectly fine, and I'm so thankful that we've got everything set up properly, which means we can now finally start to focus on coding, right? So that's why I'm excited about this. Sohini asked me what's a camera model. This is, I think I put it up in the setup. It's a Logitech C922 camera. So the link is there below the video in the My Setup portion. So you should be able to see that. Alright, so let's not waste a lot of time and let's get into this stuff. I hope you folks are able to see everything properly. Oh wow, okay, I think I need to adjust this though. Definitely not. Wow. This is definitely a lot more wide than it should be, but I think this is fine. Let me know what you folks think of my setup. Is this looking good, like the setup and everything? But yeah, thanks for jumping in, folks. Today, like I discussed, so yesterday we did something really different. I kind of learned this small tool called as Artillery, which you can use to load test your Lambda functions or your API endpoints. And we saw yesterday how to load test your serverless functions, and we did that yesterday. Today, I think I'm going to start with a new project that I have been thinking around for a while. Well, if you have been on my stream a few times back, you might have seen me build a meal planner, and I try to bring each project to kind of a conclusion, or at least to a point where someone can use it. So in the last stream, we built this really cool meal planner, It does take a bit of more setup. It's not like, it's not something that you can just plug and play, but we did build excuse me, we did build a meal planner skill which can connect into your Airtable and plan your meals if you give it a list of dishes. And yeah, that's what the skill does. You can clone it, set it up. There will be I've tried to make the the readme as comprehensive as possible, but I would love to see if folks want to contribute to this, use this. Let me know. I'm kind of using this. I kind of used this when I was back in Bangalore. Now I don't use it as much because we are not that much into planning meals nowadays. But yes, that was the logical conclusion for meal planner, which brings me to the next idea that I'm planning to build. And the idea that I'm planning to build is a voice game. And let me talk a bit about what kind of game I'm planning to build. So, so let's get into the details of this. Let's start with, I think the first thing that I always do. Thanks for the confirmation, Kevin Evans. The first thing that I always do is go into the folders. For your next stream, is it possible to bump? I know you are having issues. 480p is quite blurry. Oh, I was not sure if I was streaming in. What was the? I will check that, Satya. Thanks for alerting me to that. I did not know that I was streaming on 480p. I kind of just sent a screen cap on Discord. Oh, okay. Thanks for that, Satya. I'll definitely look into that. Yeah, this does look blurry. I'll try and get this sorted out before the next stream. Thank you so much for that, Satya. Okay, so let's get started. So let's go into personal. So here's what I'm planning to build. This is a game that tests how good you are with words. And what I'm planning to build is a game which on a daily basis, every day it's going to ask you a question, and the answer to it is always going to be a word, right? So the question could be something like a 3-letter word that represents a feline creature, right? And the answer is cat, right? Yeah, so that's the kind of questions I'm planning to put into this game. So what's going to happen is you say open the skill is going to open up, and it's going to ask you a question every day, and every day you have to answer the question, right? And it's always going to be a word, right? It could be a 3-letter word, it could be a 4-letter word, it could be a 5-letter word. Now, as we build this, the reason why I'm kind of once we kind of build this, right? The reason why we are building this is I kind of wanted to jump into a lot of mechanism into building skills. Now, I do build skills as part of my job, but there were certain things that I personally wanted to explore, which I'm using these streams as an avenue for me to explore these things. So what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to integrate some game mechanics into it, which means like we will see how to integrate streak into it and stuff like that. And we are also going to look at possibly if we can integrate in-skill purchases into it. So you can purchase in-skill purchases so that you can get an extra pack of hints or stuff like that. that is what I'm planning with this game. I hope the idea of the game is clear to you folks. Basically a game every day. If you say to this say to your Alexa device, Alexa, open Wordcatcher, let's say, and it will come up with a question for that day, and that answer is always going to be a word, right? And it's not going to be as simple as a cat or a bat. It could be something even more even more complex words as well. Definitely complex words, but you get the point, right? That's the game that I'm planning to build. Definitely not, Satya, but thank you so much for that feedback. Yes, a little bit of echo. I'm not really sure if this sorts it out. Let me see. Is the echo better now? Is it better now? If not, I think there's not much I could do except wait for Thursday when I'm getting a boom stand for my mic, so I could just place it in a better way. And yeah, unfortunately not. I hope it's not too I hope it's not too distracting though. You know what, just give me a second. I just closed the door, so I'm not sure if that helps, but I hope that helped a bit. And maybe I should also start talking very softly, so that it doesn't feel like there's an echo. But yes, I hope you folks have an idea. I would like to know your feedback on what you think about this idea. Basically a game, every day you come back to it, it asks you a question and you have to answer it. It's almost always going to be a single word, right? So that's the basic idea that I've been planning. And like I said, as we go ahead, like I said, we are looking to build in some game mechanics into it, some in-skill purchases into it, and along the way we will learn a bit more, hopefully DynamoDB stuff. And my plan for this skill is to definitely publish it, because it's been quite a while since I published a skill personally. So that kind of gives me an imposter syndrome. But yeah, I do, at my work, I do get to work with different developers and get their skills published. But personally, I have never taken a skill from end to end. And my aim for this skill is to definitely publish it. Satya would say, can't change room physics and sound behavior. I think so, but maybe I could figure out something. I think I could do some traditional Indian jugaad, or rather, for folks who do not understand that word, make up some hack, and maybe better do that. Try to remove the echo. Maybe let's see. Kevin Evans likes that idea. I have a trivia game and a card game as a part of your morning routine. Oh, that's interesting. Would love to add another to the list. Is the card game that you're talking about the one that you play on W. Giorgio's Discord server, Kevin Evans? Not at all, Satya. You're not at all distracting me. I think valid feedback. I'm just getting started back with the new setup, and totally appreciate whatever feedback you folks can give on on the video setup and the audio quality. They are definitely useful. So here's what we're going to do. Ask new. Let's just start with a new project. We are always going to choose Node.js, and we're going to go with AWS Lambda. Let's start with hello world. Please type in your skill name. I think I'm going to call this as Wordcatcher. That's what I have in mind. There we go. there we go. So I know I always say that, hey, don't start coding until you've figured out what you are going to build. But the reason why I kind of initialize the project is because I usually have a readme.md within the folder, which is what we will use in this case to flesh out our idea, right? That's what we're going to do. Oh, by the way, there seems to be a new update as well. What's the update? Developers can select self-support, self-hosted skills creation, downloading and deployment to the VS Code extension. What does that mean? You can create a new skill. You can provision your own endpoint. Does that mean the Lambda resources? You could. Okay. Download and edit a skill. Makes sense. Skill deploy and build. You can now deploy a skill, save changes and deploy a self-hosted skill. Okay, these are mostly for self-hosted skill. Oh, okay, self-hosted skill means a Lambda hosted skill, right? What does that mean? Yeah, I think the skill must be synchronized with the changes made in console. Skill deploy status, overviews, skill deployment. Kevin Evans asks a really good question. Kevin's question is, do you do a lot of pseudocode before starting a skill, like an outline in plain text? So Kevin Evans, the answer is not as straightforward as you would like. It depends. So when I'm kind of building it out on the stream, I kind of tend to, I already have a very well-defined idea in my mind, and I kind of think that it's going to work the way I want to build it. Like I've got, I almost drive my projects basis what I want to learn from that project. So you might see me kind of just fleshing out one or two conversations and then starting building that intent, right? And the primary reason for that, why I do on my streams, is because I kind of, like I said, I want to drive towards what I want to learn with that project. So for this project, I want to learn game mechanics, in skill purchases. So you will see me kind of jump right into it because this is more of a learning phase for me. But having said that, if I have to make a production grade skill, which is part of my job, and I speak to my partners and other developers, we almost always spend a lot of time on situational design, which is basically spending a lot of time on the flow, making sure that all the use cases are covered and all of those things, which makes sense because when it's stuff that we are doing at an Amazon level, there has to be a lot of thought process into it, a lot of architecture stuff into it, load balancing, a lot of stuff like that. But when it comes to just my personal projects, just the amount of pseudocode decreases. It's not as much as I would like to, but yeah, there is some amount of pseudocode for sure. So yeah, I think developers can save changes and deploy a self-hosted skill using the deploy skill and build button. Okay, so there looks like there's a button, but we will get to this. I think it's somewhere in here. Is that's where it is, right? Wow, it's been a while since I used this stuff. Oh yeah, sorry, this is here. See, you just know, yeah, there you go. So there's like this download and edit skill and a lot of stuff. Makes sense. I think let's not worry about it right now. But yes, let's go into getting started with this. Where did I create the folder? I'm planning to create this file somewhere here. Okay, let's create a readme.md, and here's what I'm planning to do. So the skill name is going to be Wordcatcher, right? Let's call this Wordcatcher. And here's what we are going to do. We are going to first start with the welcome experience, right? So the welcome experience is going to be something like customer says open Wordcatcher, and Alexa is going to say plays an intro music, and then says something to the effect of welcome to Wordcatcher. I'm just putting in, at this point I'm just putting in tagline, but it could be like a single line that really sells the game. Maybe like, welcome to Wordcatcher, the fun way to catch words, something like that. As usual, if you folks have any idea, please let me know, and we could always try and get that into the skill. It says welcome to Wordcatcher, tagline, and then it's going to explain the rules, and then it's going to segue into are you ready, something like are you ready for the game, right? It's are you ready to play the game? And the customer says yes. And if the customer says yes, Alexa is going to ask the question, right? So the question is going to be something very simple. The question is going to be something like what's a 5-letter word that has three hands, right? Something like that. Okay, what's a 5-letter word that has three hands? Now the answer to this is clock. So the customer guesses the correct answer, and so this is like the first time experience, right? This is like the first time any user comes to the skill. So first time user experience, that's what we are going to call this, right? The customer gives the correct answer, and then so basically the user could say something like, is it correct answer? And Alexa says something like plays what do you call that? A correct answer sound. I'm just going to say correct answer sound, like to-dum, something like that, and say something like, it's just going to say you are correct. And I know a lot of these words and these prompts are going to change, and I'm just fleshing out the idea at this moment. As we go ahead, this is going to evolve, but basically my plan is to just flesh out a couple of ideas and possibly get started with building the skill, possibly. So it plays the correct answer, you are correct, and then I'm planning to put in a couple of ideas, right, that I need to think about. So I'll just write it down. So I need to think about what kind of leaderboard mechanism I'm going to implement. Am I going to go ahead with a leaderboard mechanism, which means players earn a certain amount of points and they get to be on a leaderboard? Or is it going to be something like 45% of folks who answered that question answered it correctly, here's your 10 points, but there's no leaderboard. I think I'm convinced about using a leaderboard, and that's something that I want to kind of explore with this as well. But yeah, let's think about it a bit. But we would say something like, you are correct. Almost 40% of the users answered that correctly. And then there will be something to say that you get 10 points. You get 10 points for answering that correctly. And come back tomorrow. What I'm going to call this as upsell to come back tomorrow, right? And the reason why I'm putting arrow marks in that is because I really cannot think at this moment what prompt to put in there. But yeah, that's something I'll just put as within the arrows so that we will come to that at a later point. Gold Zulu is here, fashionably late, but better late than never, Gold Zulu. Thanks for joining the stream, Gold Zulu. And we are looking to build a game. We are looking to build a game where you can kind of test your word, how good you are with words. That's basically what we are thinking about building at this point. Now we've got a first time user experience. Again folks, at this point it's just random and this is going to evolve, but I'm speaking it out and building it out at the same time. So there's going to be a lot of these ramblings on how we kind of really structure, because until this point, this is the first time I'm actually putting all of those ideas into the paper, into a sheet. So some of that you may actually see me thinking out loud on a lot of these topics. But like I said, if you have any suggestions on how the user experience could improve, I'm all ears for feedback. Here's the other thing that I was planning to do, right? So say for example someone comes into the game and what they do is they give a wrong answer, right? So how does the wrong answer experience work, right? So I'm going to say custom, so I'm not going to start with all of this again. I'm just going to start with the question, right? So let's say the question is something like this. So every day there will be a new question, by the way. So every day there's going to be new puzzles in there. So customer says something like, is it the wrong answer? So basically if the answer is wrong, Alexa is going to give them a hint. I'm going to give you a hint, and here's the hint, right? And the hint is going to be something like, when this is broken, it is right twice a day, which is, maybe the customer understands that and says, hey, is it clock? And is it right answer? And then Alexa says bingo, and this time you get only 5 points. So basically if you do not use the hint, you get 10 points, but if you use the hint, you get 5 points. So you get 2 attempts actually to answer that question. But yeah, if you answer it correctly, you get 10 points, but you answer it wrong, you get 5 points. Again, still in the early stages of deciding the experience, and happy to modify this if you folks have some more ideas around it. Gold Zulu says we need an intro music for everyone. Definitely, Gold Zulu. I do plan to amp up my streams pretty soon, so you will see something cool coming up pretty soon. All right, so that's the wrong answer experience so far. What else do we need to think about? I would like to ask this question to folks on the stream. And because we are talking about games, let's talk about what are your favorite games. I'd love to know from you folks watching the stream, what are your favorite games? It could be a video game, it could be a mobile game, it could be a real life card game, or it could be like a sports as well. But what is your favorite game? It could be on voice as well, it could be on Alexa as well. And I also want to know, what is it about that game that makes you like that game? Let me know in the chat, what is your favorite game and why do you really like it? And I can go first. Basically, this is something that I recently tweeted about, but this is something, a game that I recently finished, which is called Ghost of Tsushima. And Ghost of Tsushima, I'm not someone who I would call as a very advanced gamer. I'm kind of like a very casual gamer. I bought an Xbox, never used it for 5 years, and then sold it back. So I'm that kind of a gamer. I would buy something and I would never use it. But I bought PS4 and I was using it for a while. I played God of War, which was my first game on PlayStation. And then I jumped into this game called as Ghost of Tsushima. And I believe what really stuck for me in Ghost of Tsushima was that it has a really good gameplay, so that it's not really that tough to beat the bosses, or it's not really that tough to master, but it's not easy to master. It's exactly at that sweet spot where if you put in like just the right amount of efforts, you can master the game. And it has insanely beautiful amount of beautiful graphics, right? This is basically a story set in during the time when the Mongols invaded Japan, and there's this one samurai who goes and fights against the entire Mongols, and that's basically the story. But it's so beautifully made, right? And what I really loved about this entire game is that there are places within this game, like there is a hot spring where you can just go and relax for a while, and that restores your health. Like there's this place where you can go and compose haiku, which are like short poetries, which is like so whenever the game gets a bit stressful, you're trying to kill a boss but you cannot kill a boss, so you go and sit and contemplate on fear, death, lust, and all those emotions. And then it's something that is really a very beautiful game. And I won't give away the spoilers, but there were some really good decision making within the game, and definitely an emotional story attached to it as well. W Giorgio is here. Welcome to the stream, W Giorgio. Good morning. Kevin Evans. Okay, Satya Bhatt's favorite game is Diablo 3. Unparalleled gameplay mechanics, incredibly well polished gameplay. Game is awesome if you can play it for 8+ years and still continue to do so. My goodness, you've been playing Diablo for 8+ years. That's some serious level of dedication there. I think the only other game that I can say that I have been playing for quite a while has to be Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I'm not sure if you folks know about Roller Coaster Tycoon, but Roller Coaster Tycoon for me is easily one of the best games ever made. I could just spend a lot of time just building an amusement park and making your own roller coaster stuff, right? This is how the game looks like. It's really cool. And there's like, I think as kids, everyone, at least I aspired to have like run my own amusement park. W Giorgio says he likes a lot of games: Marvel, Avengers, Cyberpunk, The Witcher, Tropico. I've been playing City Skyline again of late. Um, wow, do you have one game like that? Oh, okay. City Skyline. Oh, more than 3,000 hours on Diablo 3. So that's really good, Satya. But good to know that you've been consistent on something for for 8+ years. Uh, W. Giorgio says, I could not get into Roller Coaster Tycoon. I didn't like the UI. I think the UI is not really made. I'm not sure when you tried out W. Giorgio. I mean, if you try it out now, maybe you may not really get into it. But if you, like for me, Roller Coaster Tycoon was literally like the second or the third game I really picked up on a PC. I think should have been easily around 2008 or 9 or 7, I guess. That's when I kind of got like a PC at my home, and I guess that's when I've been using it. Um, Satya Bhatt has a really good post, by the way, on the gaming report for 2020. You folks should go and follow Satya Bhatt as well. Satya Bhatt does some really cool game streams, and yeah, do go and follow him for some more all of the games that he is talking about. Which reminds me, Satya, but I need to join you for one of those games as well for sure. So pretty soon we'll do that. Satya Bhatt is possibly getting into AWS streams. Please do, Satya Bhatt. Satya Bhatt, when he's not being awesome and not playing games, he's also into a lot of technology stuff. And he's written a book. I'm terribly bad at remembering the name of his book. But yes, it's a good book for sure. But yeah, I think it's something to do with Docker and Python. But yes, Gold Zulu was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla but stopped for a bit. All right, that was a good distraction. I think we've distracted quite a bit ourselves. But basically, I think the reason why I wanted to kind of steer the conversation towards that was, what is it that makes a game tick? I think it's definitely something like the story. It's definitely the gameplay mechanics. So that's something that I'm also going to keep in mind as we try to build this game. So gameplay mechanics. This is something that will be on top of my mind as we try and build out this game. The other thing, like I said, purchasing options. Again, as an Indian developer at this moment, I cannot build in-skill purchases, so I'm not going to like publish any of these stuff, right? But I'm going to build this for sure, just for me to understand how this works, right? Maybe try and build and see how that works. So that's my intention behind it. But I do intend to publish this skill through, right? I do intend to publish this skill. So this is something that I definitely want to publish. So yeah. So the first time user experience, the wrong answer experience, that's what we have so far. What else do we need to? Return experience. So let's say for example, you come back to the skill on the second day. Return experience, I call this as the n+1 day, n+1st day. So basically you come back on the second day, what should be the experience like, and end day, right? So I'm going to call this as the end day, then the return experience on n+1st day. So customer is going to say open Wordcatcher. Alexa is going to say welcome back. I am glad and delighted that you came back to play another round of Wordcatcher with me. and then kind of give an update on leaderboard. So basically this is the part where Alexa is going to say, hey, you've gotten like you are at you've gotten 10 points so far, you've gotten 20 points so far, stuff like that. You rank nth on the leadership on the leaderboard, stuff like that. And then once that is done, it's going to say, are you ready for today's question, right? And customer is going to say yes, and then Alexa is going to ask the question for day n+1 day, right? So this is how it's going to go, and then it's going to follow the same upsell, right? So it's going to say the customer is going to say, is it the correct answer? Then Alexa plays the correct answer, and then it says you are correct. Almost 40% of the users answer that correctly. You get 10 points for answering that correctly. And if they answer it wrong, then they kind of get get a hint. And if they get that hint wrong as well, if they get that hint correct, they get 5 points. But if they mess that up, I think they should get like a 0 point. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea so far. I'm not sure, Satya, but if you have a blog post on how you went about publishing the book of yours. I've been planning to learn Python and I've been planning to learn Docker. I haven't learned both of that, which is why I have not bought the book, but I do plan to buy that book one time for sure, hopefully sometime this year. Yeah, wrong answer experience. I think let's have one more experience here, right? Which is like both hints fail, right? And just give me a minute, folks. Let me just check something. All right, I'm back here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, what happens if both the hints fail? So, customer. So this is where this happens, right? So Alexa says the customer has given a wrong answer first time. So Alexa is going to say, I'm going to give you a hint, and here's the hint, and the user answers it wrong on the second call as well. In that case, what we are going to do is, oops, looks like today's not so good day for you. So good day for you, and some kind of consolation message. I need to rethink that, so I'm just putting in some tabs here. We'll flesh out the entire experience as we go, and that's the beautiful thing about software, right? Like a software is never completed, and it can always go through multiple iterations before it is actually complete for the world to see. So yeah, consolation message, and then you know what, another thing that I kind of want to for this skill to be is the name that I'm using, right? Wordcatcher. I'm almost thinking, if a user answers that day's word correctly, my aim is for the user to catch that word. Like, they do get 10 points, but what they are essentially doing, so help me out, folks, what do you think would be a better game mechanics? Do you think giving the users 10 points is a good way to do it. Or we say something like, hey, you've got one word, you now have one word in your bag, and something like that. I'm just thinking out loud here, but basically, because the skill is called as Wordcatcher, maybe they will say it's like Pokemon, right? You actually catch that Pokemon, so you're literally like capturing that word and keeping it with you. Not sure if that idea makes sense and how I would implement it within the skill, and how we could use it as a mechanism to track if track the leaderboard status. But yeah, that's something that I've been thinking about. Gotta catch them all, definitely. Kevin Evans. Gold Zulu says, Gold Zulu is asking for leaderboard. What did you end up using? I think, yeah, I did. I'm planning to use GameOn SDK. We've talked about GameOn SDK, and in fact, you know what? I think on the Alexa Devs channel, Alexa Skills Summer Camp. Yeah, so I've got like this. If you just, I think it's this file, but if you just search for it, Alexa Skills Summer Camp, let me just put this into the search results. 1, 2, there's a 3, 4, and 5 list of all those 5 videos. And I think the 4th day, the gamification one, this is where you'll see me implement GameOn SDK. So yeah, wow, it's almost a year since, it's almost coming close to a year. I think I did this back in March and April. Really tough to believe that it's been a year since the pandemic. It's almost going to be a year since the pandemic is setting in, right? But yeah, this was like a crazy stuff. I think Gulzulu was there. I remember I was trying to stream from my I don't think I had a streaming PC back then. I was trying to stream from my MacBook Pro, and I had like a 1500 viewers that day, and my biggest concern was that I just hope my stream doesn't die in the middle of the stream. So yeah, fun times. I actually like that idea, Oxygen Box. What if you catch a word each day and each word is clue to a weekly puzzle? You know what? That is actually, while that might actually require a bit of work on my end, but yeah, I think that's a really great idea, Oxygen Box. Let me think about it. Gameplay mechanics, but and then you evolve a word after finishing the puzzle. Yeah, I think at this point I'm pretty sure the lawyers at Pokemon Go are going to use this video to sue me, but I think we'll stop at that much amount of resemblance to Pokemon Go for sure. But yeah, I actually like it. But the only trouble that I see with this is going to take a lot of effort on my end. Oh yeah, it's going to take a lot of effort on my end to actually make these puzzles, but I think it's okay because even if I could do it for like 5 or 6 weeks in the starting and launch it every other week, it should not be a lot of time. So for example, I think Oxygen Box, thank you so much for this idea. I actually like this. Let me think about how we can implement this. But what I kind of think is, say for example, this week's theme is time, right? So we say this week's theme is time, right? So if this week's theme is time, that's actually a good idea. So the first day, the word that we ask is clock. The second day, maybe we tell them like Greenwich, which is the Greenwich Meridian time, or the word for the second day is meridian, let's say. right? And what other words can you associate with time? There's clock, there's clock, there's meridian. What other words can you associate with time? Wow, I never thought this would be so difficult. Alarm, right? I could say alarm. I set an alarm to wake up, right? And what else? So what else? Time, alarm, clock, hour, seconds, stuff like that. So you've got now like 5 words. So the first 5 days, every day you get hint for this specific word, like for clock, for meridian, for alarm, for hour and second. So this is nth day, and this is n plus 1, this is n plus 2, this is n plus 3, this is n plus 4, 1 2 3 4 5, and then minutes. Okay, let's say this is the minutes now. And I think that's a really good idea that Auction Box just gave me. What we could do is, you could possibly get points for guessing this correctly. So you get clock, meridian, alarm, hour, seconds, minutes. So if you get all of them correct, you have a chance to win 60 points. Is that correct? 10 into 6, yeah, 60 points. Now what I kind of want to bake in is also that every day, so let's say today you guess the word clock, right? But once you guess that word, we ask you, we can ask the customer, we can ask the player, hey, do you want to guess what this week's theme is, right? So if they guess on the nth day the word time correctly, like let's say the question is going to be something like, hey, you get 10 points for answering that correctly. Do you want to guess this week's theme as well? And then if the customer guesses the theme correctly on the nth day, they get like 50 points. If they get it correctly on the n plus 1 day, they get 40 points. They get it on the alarm day, they get 30 points. Hour, 20 points. Something like that. And then if not, like, if they do not get the theme correctly on any of these days, right? They do not get the theme correctly on any of these days, then on the 6th day, or rather this last day of the week, is when they kind of need to guess it. And at this point they will just get they will get like 10 points for this. But yeah, what do you folks think of? What do you folks think of this idea, right? Every day, every week has a theme, and you guess the word on that specific day, right? And if you guess the week's theme on any of the day, you get extra points. And all of this point adds to the leaderboard, and which adds to like a what do you call it? A weekly leaderboard kind of thing, yeah, and a lifetime leaderboard. I agree, Auction Box. I think even though the content creation becomes more involved, it does create an incentive for people to come back regularly. Definitely, I think this is an idea worth pursuing, and I'm so thankful for you for this idea, because I think this is something that I had never thought about, and this looks like an interesting gameplay mechanics to build. I'm not yet decided how we are going to go and build that. All of the building is something that we will do on the stream. We'll figure it out. We'll fail together. But yeah, I think a lot of this thought process is going to come very unrestrained on the stream itself, right? So yeah, that's pretty much what we are thinking to build. Let me take a I'm just I think we need to have at least the base mechanics in place, and I'm feeling really good about this basic game mechanics. What do you folks think about it? Do you think this is something that would work well? Like, we have a weekly theme, and every week every day you kind of guess that word plus that week's theme as well, right? And if you do that, you get extra points. I would love to know your thoughts on that, folks. Wow, that's quite a bit of brainstorming we've done. I'm almost like, I think I need to now take a minute or two to just let it settle in, because I kind of think that this, yeah, I think W. Giorgio says, I'm interested how you're going to put the content. Two ways for that, right, W. Giorgio? My preferred way is to load it up all in DynamoDB, right? Put it up in DynamoDB, have a CSV file, or have some mechanism through which I kind of offload all the content into DynamoDB and get the answers out, if that's what you're asking about, W. Giorgio. The another option that I have been also thinking about is Airtable, but I'm not too keen on Airtable per se, because I'm just not that sold on Airtable. I've seen what Jeff has done with his skill on Airtable. I'm just not that much in favor of using Airtable as a backend. I understand it's a really good software, and I could use it for a lot of other things, and I've actually used it for the meal planner skill that I had prepared, right, which is here, I think somewhere here. I had posted it somewhere here on GitHub, on my GitHub. I am planning to use DynamoDB for it, because I want to kind of amp up my DynamoDB learning skills as well. And this was something that I was talking about as we started the stream, is that I'm looking for this project to satisfy a couple of my learning requirements as well, out of which what I'm looking to learn from this project is leaderboard, and implement a leaderboard and get it into production and actually have people play this leaderboard, right? I want to do that. I have built it, I have published it, but I have never had as a part of my job, I have done a lot of these stuff, but I want to kind of do it for like a personal project of mine, which is why I kind of think I want to do all of those things. And who knows, maybe instead of using the GameOn SDK, we may actually end up using DynamoDB to actually build our entire leaderboard as well. Gold Zulu says use GraphQL and AppSync. Gold Zulu, I've been so away from programming, let me tell you, I don't know what AppSync means. GraphQL, oh, okay. Okay. I'm totally new to all of these things. I mean, I've heard about it, but I've heard about GraphQL, but I've never really jumped into it. Ask for what you need, get exactly that, send a GraphQL query to your API. What's the difference between is GraphQL almost similar to like what do you call it? Why is that word slipping me? Do we call it a non-relational database? Is that the name for it, for MongoDB and all these databases, what do we call it? It's a document based database, right? Is GraphQL a document based? Okay, GraphQL is a query language. It's Facebook popularized GraphQL. Okay. I am not sure if I will go with GraphQL, but that's a good suggestion, Gold Zulu. Maybe sometime in future. Oh, I can put DynamoDB behind it. So you're saying that? Okay. So you're saying, I think I get it now. So you are saying I have a document DB in behind, which is like something like document-based DB, something like DynamoDB or MongoDB or something like that. And then I have GraphQL to query that. Not bad. Maybe we could try that. I'll need to think a bit about that though. I want to really move fast on this project, so scroll down on overview. Where's overview? What did I miss? Where's overview? Oh, okay. You're saying on AppSync. Okay. Got it. Okay, so AppSync combines data from databases, APIs, and other backend systems into a single GraphQL endpoint. I got it now. I think I understand now. I think this image really helps it understand. Okay, so you have like a lot of data coming in, but for this we are just going to get in data from max one table, right? I kind of feel AppSync may be an overkill for that. Let me know if I'm wrong on that, Gold Zulu. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. I think it's to learn. Yes, I think I'll definitely take that idea, Gold Zulu. Let me write it down. Gold Zulu explore AppSync and GraphQL, right? I'll definitely check this out. Thanks for joining in, Satya. But yes, I think with that it's almost time for us to stop the stream. It's been a fun stream today, and thanks everyone for joining in. Today what we did was we kind of went in and we kind of fleshed out our idea. As we go ahead, we are going to spend a bit more time and publish this skill. So we will definitely do that. So build the skill, publish the skill. That's what's the next project going to be, and let's see how soon we can do that. But yes, Kevin Evans, thanks. Gold Zulu, Satya Bird, thanks for joining in. W Giorgio, Oxygen Box, Harsh Mangukia was here. I didn't see a lot of chat from him though, but Sohini was here too. Wow, lots of people. LJ Bidet Boy, everyone, thank you so much folks for joining in. Really appreciate you joining in. And now we are going to go and raid Jeff Blankenberg's stream. So let's go raid Jeff Blankenberg and make sure you go and say hi to Jeff Blankenberg. Thank you folks, and see you all tomorrow.